Declutter in 15 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 25 minutes a day. It seems like such a simple idea. You get a plan for what to reduce in your household. You take just a few minutes, right? Just swap it out with your scrolling time, and boom, you should have a decluttered house in X amount of months. Well, I want to talk about that because I'm not the only one that's struggling. You guys have commented as well, wondering, well, okay, but the idea makes sense. The execution is faulty. How do we close the gap? Let's talk about that today.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jackson, and this is the new way to thrive in motherhood by leaning into who you are, what you love, your unique family situation, and personal mission to create a life that you actually want to live. I want to invite you to join me in saying no to the life of the exhausted supermom, burnout, victim thinking, being pulled in so many directions, suffering through survival mode, or being lost in motherhood, and say yes to building strong families and moving forward on our greatest goals in order to create a fulfilling life that we are excited to wake up to each day and become a soaring mother. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast.
As a homeschooling mom of 5 kids, I totally understand this idea of feeling overwhelmed by your home. There's been so many seasons where I'd be like, Andrew, can you just take the kids for a week or a couple of days and I can make massive progress in our house? And there's not really a place to take them. We live 30 hours away from our family. I can't send them over to, grandma's house for an afternoon to get this done. So no, the answer is no. I'm going to keep having my kids here all day long with me. I'm not even sending them to public school for time to declutter. So I understand this idea of wanting to be able to just have these long free blocks of uninterrupted time to get things done. I also understand the wonderful principle of doing it in small chunks of time. And I also understand that it's hard still with the energy and bandwidth to get those things done. So what is the solution? What are we to do as wonderful moms who have a lot going on and yet want to simplify our homes? Well, first of all, it is totally possible, and a plan is a good start. Taking action, though, is also a good start, but the gap between those two things for me is pretty simple, and that is choosing one of my big 3 for the week to be decluttering. Let's explain what this is. So first of all, I have the Thriving in Motherhood Planner, and at the top of it, there are a big 3 for every week. And this is really important because within my regular days, there's already so much happening that is going to happen every single day and every single week. We're always going to be doing our, science co-op, and we're going to be going to the library, and we're meeting with our other homeschool group. Those are things we're going to do out of the house every week. We're going to be doing our family subjects together. We're going to be doing our math work and the piano practice and spelling and, these things that take up morning times. We are going to be feeding our children 3 meals a day, or they're going to be feeding themselves 3 meals a day, which means we're going to be cleaning the kitchen many times a day. We're going to be vacuuming the floor every day because we have a baby crawling. So our days are already full of good things. But within my week, I can make space for 3 more things. Now, these aren't always like 3 personal extra things. So, for example, one of my big 3 for the week actually is school. That is, if I'm homeschooling, one of my big 3 is school. Another one of my big 3, we are on our 6th birthday in 6 weeks. No, we're on our 5th birthday in 6 weeks, okay? So one of my big 3 when we have a birthday week is the birthday. Just happens. When I try and ignore the fact that takes up a lot of time and bandwidth, it does not work. If we have family coming into town, that's a big 3. That's happening again for us this weekend. Super fun. So some of these are like circumstantial things that take time. So 5-hour chunk of my day, that counts. A business project. So I've got to transfer. Anyway, we've got to do some tech swapping around with email platforms. That's going to be one of my big 3 for the week. When I am working on a part of my home or needing to update the kids' wardrobes or wanting to declutter a room, that becomes a big 3 for the week. This is really helpful because if I'm looking at a week like this week and I'm thinking, man, I really want to get to my kids' bedrooms, but I'm seeing email software has to be updated, school is going to happen, it's a birthday this week as well, and we've got family coming to town, I know decluttering is not going to happen this week. So me even just saying, I'm just going to do it for 15 minutes a day. No. When I have 15 minutes in a day, I'm going to be working on one of those other things that are already happening, that are scripted out for me with deadlines. That's just how it's going to be. Now, the upcoming week, we won't have family in town. Our birthdays are done. It is Thanksgiving, so that's going to be on the calendar. In fact, you're going to hear this the week of Thanksgiving. Okay, so Thanksgiving stuff is going to be one of my big three for the week. And school's going to be a big three for the week. But then I get to pick my third. I won't have a tech deadline emergency that I'm trying to solve, and I can pick decluttering the kids' bedrooms. Now, maybe that is going to happen in 15-minute chunks throughout the week, and that's wonderful. But the key is that I can tell based on what my big threes are for the week if I have space for decluttering. Now, I like to zoom out and also be keeping track and celebrating the progress that I'm making. So within the Thriving in Motherhood Planner, every month there is a page to review your month. And it's things about discovering and learning, things you accomplished, places you went, things you did with your family, books you're reading. And I love every 30 days to review, or while I'm going along, reviewing as I go. So under my accomplished spot, every time I make progress in my house, I want to make a note of it. If that is the thing that I'm focusing on, if decluttering is one of my big core, things that I'm filling in the cracks within my weeks, I want to keep track of the decluttering progress that I'm making, because I want to see that the progress is building before it feels like it, because that'll keep me going. I can see that I'm doing things even if the result I want is not there yet. So for example, going into like my kids' spaces after 3 months, I have not touched my kids' rooms since having a baby. My baby just turned 4 months old. So for 4 months, I have totally ignored those spaces. And beyond just saying like, hey, tidy your room here, put these things away. But as far as like, I've got very creative kids. They've got 4 months of creative projects built up in their spaces. Like, it's a project, okay? So even when I go in for 10 minutes, you can't tell. Or if they're working on it in 10 minutes, they can't tell. So if we can kind of keep track of, hey, we made progress in this area and we did this thing and we spent this much time and we got rid of this much stuff and these many bags, and then I start to keep that momentum going. I can see progress is being made, and that motivates us to keep going. So, or if you're like, this is a really long list of things, you want to get a full picture, just pick one of the think and process pages in your planner. You can index it and just have this be the I'm making progress in my house. So I would say those are really the two things that are the deal, like the change makers for me when it comes to being successful in decluttering with everything else that's stacked up against me. Okay. It's the making space by knowing that decluttering is a specific area is one of my big three for the week. And I can decide that maybe I can't do it every single week, but I can be aware of my grand picture of what's happening and pick one of those things to be a big three. And keeping track, like if this is the thing that I'm working on, and right now it is, and this is what I'm doing, I am making a list of all of the times that I am decluttering something or organizing something, sorting something, because until I hit that peak point where it feels easy. So the beautiful thing is you're going to get to a room, and I would work in just one room if you can until that one feels easy, because what happens is you hit this critical mass point of, and this is where like all of our family living areas are this way. My office is this way. Our bedroom's this way. The only we just have 2 spaces left in our house, guys. It's incredible. Okay. But so in all of these other rooms, what happens is you get to the point where you're like, whoa, I see the difference. And then you want to go like nitpicky in that space. You want to be in that space. You want to make it better and better and better. And it's just so easy to be there. It becomes easy to maintain. Right now, we have our entire downstairs reset completely to ground zero, vacuumed every single night. And it is not taking us much time. The kids and I are doing it together. It looks good. It feels good. It's so exciting to be here. Like, we have normalized our downstairs space. That's with everyone living there every day, homeschooling there, crafting, fort building, puzzling, like fully living our life. And downstairs is reset with clean floors. And so we just have, again, just a few more spaces to do that with upstairs. But my tendency is to want to keep working in those clean spaces because it feels so good. So until you hit that critical point of like the tipping point, it takes a while. It's like, this feels so hard. This feels so hard. This is like seriously anxiety inducing. I feel like I've got vertigo in this space, just so overwhelmed. To then you're like, oh, the ice cube. I see I'm making progress. The ice cube is melting. This looks so good. And then it's like all of a sudden easy and you're refining and it's exciting. So you really, if you can keep track writing down that progress until you hit that tipping point, then you're like, I don't need to keep writing this down. I want to be here. This is so easy. We're making progress. So that is my best tips for you when it comes to creating that decluttering momentum and creating space. Now, I have a whole lot more that I would love to help you with when it comes to creating a smooth running household. You can check out my free class at the link below to help give you the 12 years of learnings and struggles and wisdom that I have gained while I've been struggling with this hardcore for the last 12 years, and giving it all to you in, 45 minutes, so that you can go forth with great success and hopefully just find the shortcut you need in your own household needs. So I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you next week.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.